Dude, Trump has been playing up this shit, especially with the holidays, being like, oh, they want to cancel Thanksgiving, they want to cancel Christmas. That's shit. I was watching some of his rally today. I don't know why. I just happened to see some of it. It was fucking amazing.
No more birthdays.
Exactly. Yeah. The shit they don't show on TV on like mainstream news, like the raw, uncut rallies are fucking wild, man. It's wild shit. It's amazing.
They're amazing. I love watching those things.
Yeah.
My family, they're pretty right wing, and so I'll visit them because they're over in Mississippi, and we'll just watch Fox News and we'll watch Trump rallies, and it's just fucking banger after banger. I love this shit so much, dude. It's amazing. It's the best part of his presidency. He's fucking hilarious. Unironically, he's a funny ass dude.
Yeah, he's genuinely very funny.
He really is, yo. I mean, there used to be like, you know, like a lot of like the dirtbag left would be like, yo, he's not funny, like he's he's humorless or something.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what are you he never laughs. He's humorless. He's like, he doesn't understand humor. Yo, he's the funniest. Like, he makes my parents laugh. You know what I mean? They're just like boomers. Like, he cracks people up. Like, he's fucking hilarious. Like, damn, they really want to take him out. That's crazy. Over my dead body, yo. I'm gonna hit the fucking streets. Fuck that.
I like CRK just straight up being full on MAGA. I like this development.
Yeah. I've never owned a gun and I'm full on boogaloo right now. No, but he was like, yeah, they want to fucking end fucking holidays. They want to end Thanksgiving. Like, leaning on the
So I'm at Slavoid T.
All right, this is Shit Spouter 37.
This is Black.com build.
This is the Fed Post.
honestly, like, all the bad shit of lockdowns are associated with them, not with him.
Yeah.
Like, he's the one who's like, yo, we want a vaccine. We want to get back to real life. We want to, like, he's the optimistic one. Like, somehow they've managed to make him.
Yeah, he might be immune.
Yeah, he might be immune. He probably is. But they used to make him, like, the pessimistic one. Like, he was, like, the super, like, doomsday one. But, like, now he's the optimistic one because he's like, yo, I'm trying to fucking get back to some real, like, fuck this shit is whack. And everybody relates to that. Nobody fucking likes this shit.
Right. It is kind of funny how, like, it kind of, it is kind of a role reversal a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Like, yeah, he used to be the one like, this country is so fucked. It's so dark. Everything's fucked.
Right. And so then obviously the argument was like, he's not patriotic. He's like really disrespectful.
Right. They tried to flip the whole thing.
There was this lib that was trying to tell me, he was like, yeah, Donald Trump's like not running on like, or not Donald Trump, sorry. Joe Biden's not like campaigning on fear and using fear. And it's like, dude, yeah, actually he is the candidate that's using fear because he's like making you be afraid of like the other guy. Whereas Trump's just like, yo, guess what? Let's just do some of this shit right here. Like, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
What's up? Like,
yeah, let's just throw fives on this dub.
Yeah. The part of his rally is where like everybody just puts five up on a blunt and they all just like everybody just matches.
Yeah. That's socialism.
Yeah, that's a vision for a socialist future right there.
Yeah,
no, he's way more
class
chill.
Conscious.
Dude, it's like Donald Trump Jr. today posting on Instagram that meme that's like, I just want gay couples to be able to protect their marijuana plants with guns. He like posted that. It's like a classic libertarian meme or whatever. But like, it's kind of the same idea. Like he's running to the left of fucking Biden. Like just like, and his family is just out here like shooting the shit on like socially quote unquote progressive stuff, you know, where like, whereas Joe Biden's just like, oh, everyone needs to do better. Like,
yeah, no, it is wild, yo. He's seeing him out woke the Dems is really amazing. Like he did a little bit at the debate, but like the whole like, yeah, Biden did the crime bill shit, all the Bernie line shit, like, yo, you did the crime bill, all that shit, like super predators. You called them super predators. Like seeing him do that shit is really, it's kind of amazing the way he just flips the whole.
It's funny
paradigm with that shit. Like it is amazing. I wish, I feel like if he was just pro like legalizing weed, like I don't know if that might split his like Christian base, but that probably would that'd be a nice wedge against the Democrats because they won't do it.
No, I've been saying that, dude. Like, I think the next candidate that comes out that's just like, yeah, I think weed should be legal. Like, that'll be huge. Like, because most people just think it should be, or at least decriminalized. Like, no one, I don't know. Like, that goes into like prison abolition without having to like abolish prisons and shit. Because you're like limiting the amount of people you're putting in them in the first place if you legalize or decriminalize a drug that people are getting locked up for. So it's like you can appease kind of like the libertarian right that's like, oh, people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, and you can also appease the left that's like, oh, we need less people in prisons. Well, yes, that'll do that. And also most people smoke weed too. Like most people smoke weed. I mean, not most people, but a shitload of people do.
Yeah, I guess he's just worried about maybe the evangelicals or something. Like maybe
I mean, I guess it would probably just depend on like what happens with,
but like who are they going to go to?
Private prisons and pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. I don't think he's worried about the evangelicals because like they're not going to go to Biden. I mean, like
they have no choice.
Vote, you know, like there's no other choice for them.
Not with a son like Hunter. Not like with the
that's
from hell.
The son from hell. The laptop from hell. That's what Trump is calling it, right?
Yeah. He said that in debate. I was like, it's some branding. I didn't even know what it was, but I was intrigued. I was like, yeah, I gotta find out.
Yeah, test well.
Yeah.
I think that Biden crime family doesn't like work quite as well as Clinton.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
but I appreciate it. I like it.
Yeah, it feels kind of like nodding to the original and the sequel a little bit. Right. Like, it's like this isn't like an important line, but like I guess it's neat.
It's an homage. Yeah, it's a nod and a wink.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like it's like a little bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, now we'll get Lock Him Up coming out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this shit does feel like a mirror of 2016. I can't shake that feeling that like a lot of this shit is exactly the same. Like,
it's kind of fucking boring.
Yeah, it's super boring.
It's not exciting this time around. Like I remember in 2016, like a week before the election, every single day it seemed like some new news article would come out and everyone would freak out. And it was invigorating paying attention to the news. Like I was excited every fucking day just to read whatever bullshit media was out there. But nowadays,
because he was new.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, now there's 400 articles a day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, the deluge. You kind of just like it all just gets blurred. You've seen it all before.
Mm-hmm.
And Hillary was more of an attack dog. Yeah, I mean, she was out there going hard. Like she's good at like playing the politics game. But
that broad's got some bite.
Yeah, honestly, for real, she really does. I mean, she sucks and everyone hates her. I mean, everybody hates her, but she really does. Like, she's got something to her. I mean, but like Biden, like,
wait, who are we talking about again?
Hillary.
Oh, Hillary. Right. That's
yeah.
Okay.
But like Biden is like, he's like, they've hid him away. So this election is very like, it doesn't even feel like an election. He's just kind of like tucked away, and like the media just like does everything they can to just distract from Biden himself. So
did you guys see that fucking Barack Obama like throwing a basketball video?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, dude. So I went the whole day just being like, oh, this is stupid. Like I'm not gonna watch. Like you just see like the first 2 seconds of it over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm. And like I didn't like expand it, but like I did finally expand it when someone pointed out that like Biden is in the clip.
Yeah.
And like him just like following along beside Barack as like Barack exits a room, and so does like their entire staff following this cool guy, and then like Sleepy Joe just is like following behind, like looking like just like an actual like retarded person following this group, and it's really fucking weird.
No, for real, it was like Cernovich or somebody I found tweeting it, because now I try to find like the right wingers. If I look for a video, I try to find the right. I try to amplify. I send her the right wing voice.
Yeah, send her Groiper voices.
Yeah. I think it was Cernovich or one of those motherfuckers who was just like posting. He's like, "Yo, Joe looks like a fucking cuck in this shit." I'm like, I didn't know he was in it, and then same with you. Like then I watched him, like, damn, yo, it looks just pathetic. He's just in the back with the mask. Like Obama's just like, tell him, suck on my nuts.
It's what I do.
It's like in high school, I do. You go to the gym like during the time when they would be having like gym time for the special needs classes, and you see them in their brand, and like then they'd walk down the hallways on like kind of like leash type things, like a couple of them, and it's kind of like they just kind of follow behind aimlessly. That's kind of like what Joe Biden was doing.
On leashes.
It's like a strap. It's like a kind of like
I've never seen that.
They had it at my school.
Really? They put the
Yeah, we had
retards on straps?
Yeah, we had some Class A retards down in Alabama, dude.
Drew, you don't remember? You don't remember those straps? You blacked that out from memory?
Yeah. It's a repressed memory.
Yeah, you should go to therapy. You could probably figure it out.
But I remember when I was in school, they let those retards walk amongst us in the hallways. They just kind of just walk on their own. There'd be
Yeah, there were
teachers and
levels to
stuff.
it. There was levels to it in our school. Like you have some that were in the classes with you, but those were like low level, high functioning. Then you had your like high level tards, low functioning, and they were in a different thing going on.
Well, and realistically, like, I mean, even then, like, it still wasn't for them, you know?
No. It's just for their parents to have a place to put them for a little while. I mean, honestly, I mean, just truly.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the first time in a while where I've actually been made nervous by something we're talking about.
I'm just thinking, I'm marking the time like, oh, I got to cut this at 18 seconds.
No, it's cool. I got a lisp and autism. I'm cool. I've been called retarded plenty of times.
Yeah. God bless those kids. Yeah.
Oh, bless them. Bless them. My
Trump
keyboard
was
warriors.
their voices, and Biden too, like with that handbag. That last step.
Yeah, they all listen to Fed Post now, so you got to be, and they're all drooligans, so you got to be careful.
Drooligans.
They're our crowd now. We represent them. We champion these people.
Yeah. We give them a voice.
But yeah, there was that Biden tweet earlier today about taking everyone's guns away. That was really big. That's like a pro move before an election.
Wait, what happened?
Biden tweeted today. Let me see if I can find it. Some just like absurd shit. I mean, it's really not that absurd for like the lib Democrat talking line, but let's see if I can find it.
That's
but it was about gun control. But he was like, yeah, I'm going to take away, like, if I'm in the office, we'll not have sales for assault rifles anymore. We'll do universal background checks across the country, blah, 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 and cut down on gun violence, this and that and the other. To me, it just seems like that's so retarded to do right before an election. Like, I guess maybe he's counting on everyone's already sent their ballots in or something. But, I mean, you're not going to get, like, if you're going for the boomer base, which is he kind of is, like, most people are fine with guns. Like, and that's one of like our few remaining like just like solid rights that people are like, hey, we should keep guns. And he's like, no, actually 2 days before the election, I'm going to take your guns if I'm in office. It's just, to me, it just doesn't seem like a logical play at all.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, that's all they can do, right? Because it's the only wedges they can really create are social ones, right? So they have to go with social issues like abortion and guns. Like that's the only wedge they can really create, and they don't even really have like much of a wedge because they kind of
but like all that fantasy talk about Texas going blue, like that's out the window now. Like I'd imagine, like that's not.
Oh, why? Yeah. Why? It worked for Beto. It worked for Beto being anti-gun, like that worked for him.
Yeah. Beto was the beta testing for that.
Beta male, yeah.
Yeah, beta is in all caps there.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yo, this Texas going blue shit is the most.
It's very silly.
It's not fucking happening. It's not happening, y'all. I live in Texas. It's not fucking happening. I don't care what anyone says. These fucking libs are out of their goddamn minds. And these are people from like DC or fucking, the coastal states. They're talking to Texans like, we don't understand what the fuck's going on here. Texas might eventually go blue. It's not happening now. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It's lib delusion. And you know what? If anyone listens to this podcast and this doesn't get edited out, you can call my ass out on Twitter, okay? And I'll fucking eat shit. But it's not happening. I'm telling you right now. And Florida's going red too, bitches. I'm guaranteeing that.
And Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, I think so too. I think that Michigan and Wisconsin will probably go blue, but Pennsylvania I think stays red. Now, don't hold me to that one like the other two. Y'all can roast my ass if I'm wrong the others, but
that Pennsylvania. Oh my god, that'd be so fucking tight if Scranton Joe, fucking Scranton eats shit in Pennsylvania. Like, oh my god. Wait, did it go red last time?
Yeah, it did.
Oh my god, yo, that's a lot. There's a lot of country out there besides fucking Pittsburgh. And Philly. Like, there's a lot in between that, so it's like makes sense that like couldn't fucking nail it. But like,
Pittsburgh's like historically basically like a very industrial town with like a lot of like heavy industry and manufacturing. So that even though it's an urban area, it may have a higher population of people that support Trump than Biden.
Right. No, yeah, the whole Texas. I mean, Florida maybe makes more sense than the Texas thing, but the Texas going blue shit is like the most insane cope I've ever seen. Like, they really, I don't know. I don't remember if they were saying this shit as much in 2016. I always remember it being like, it's purple. It's always like on the edges, but now they're like, they really believe it's going blue.
Yeah, they're calling it. I see people unironically, they'll post their little maps or whatever, which by the way is an incredibly gay activity. Fucking being election Twitter. It's like coloring books. These are fucking grown ass men with coloring books is what they're doing.
Facts.
Oh, I gotta check my 538 projections.
Yeah.
But Texas is going blue by like 3 points.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be light blue. I'll even see some people do like the dark blue when they win like by 5 points. Like, you guys are fucking delusional. I don't know what world they're living in. Maybe it's just bait and they're trying to piss me off, but if it is, then they're working. It's working.
Nah, I really feel like they genuinely believe it this time. These people fucking had Beto O'Rourke stickers. Like, they fucking.
Oh my god, dude, that was the worst. Did he get that shit?
Yeah, he boss. Did he really? Did he like? I don't remember the margins. Did he eat a lot of shit, or how was that tight? Or
it was actually pretty tight. I think it was like 1 or 2% off. It was the closest it's been in a while. Yeah, he was really popular here.
Wow.
But
yeah, I mean, and like his campaign was like a huge fucking investment. Like, it was a big project.
Oh, they put mad money in that shit. Fucking
yeah. Well, and what? Like, didn't he just did all that fucking driving around, like sucking people's dicks and shit? Like,
yeah, he went to each county in Texas.
Yeah, but he went to like every county in Texas, and he sucked everyone's penis.
That's remarkable.
He still lost to Ted Cruz doing all that shit. That shows you how like it's not happening this year. I mean, it's 2 years later.
It was like thousands of loads, and he didn't even get anything for it.
And we're talking about Ted Cruz here, which is like one of the more limp dick politicians out there.
Yeah, he's hated.
Ted Cruz does not good throat game. Like,
that's a great point, honestly, because like that comparison is very flawed, and a big reason is because like Cruz is fucking hated. He is like a hated neocon, and comparing him to Trump is insane. And Beto obviously is more likable than fucking Biden. So it's like
Trump's base hated Cruz. Like Trump,
they
calling Cruz like a retard and like saying that like his wife or something. Like,
he said he fucked his wife.
It's like, I fucking banged your wife. Your wife was a 6.
Exactly right. It rocks.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz is like tweeting out porn links.
Oh yeah. Yo, it was so tight. Watch. Yeah. So tight. Watching
the best kind.
He was like pointing to the camera. He's like, Donald, stop talking about my fucking wife. You better cut her out, Donald. And then like a year later, just like sucking Trump's dick because he has to, because they all have to. Lindsey Graham, like, it's fucking beautiful.
You better cut that out, Donald.
Yeah.
He never will. I love it. Like him telling Biden in the past debate when he was like, "Don't ever use the word smart with me, Joe Biden."
Yeah. Chad.
No, and the thing is that I don't know, like, you liberals want to do like the enlightened thing where they're like, hey man, like, just like don't engage him when he's doing that, like just don't engage him. And like it doesn't work though, because like you don't engage him and like he makes you look like a bitch because you're not engaging him.
He's just insulting you and you're taking it like a cuck. That's exactly what's happening.
No, exactly. And like no matter how much, like, you know, it's been like 20 years since you were in high school and you're some like permissive liberal parent and you think like, oh, like you can just don't get on their level and you've won. And it's like, no, like you're still gonna look like a fucking loser, dude. Yeah. Like he does. He does.
I'll miss him, dude. I'm sure y'all will too, but
hey, don't talk like that.
No, regardless of if he wins or not, he's not going to campaign again. And I love campaign season Trump. Like he is just fucking hilarious.
He might take it on tour.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, just like a greatest hits tour. I mean, he's gonna pump it out to like build the image and build the brand as much as he can, and then like any good businessman would, and then also leave a good path for his son and his daughters to follow in. Because like, you know that like a lot of MAGA base is like they're on board for like a Donald Jr. 2028 Ivanka kind of run. Like, so I mean, if I'm him, I'm still totally going out and doing like these quote unquote campaign rallies that are more just like stump speeches or whatever, just kind of like entertainment venues in a way.
Well, yeah, he definitely was doing. He's been doing a lot of it during his presidency in a way that was not really seen before. Where kind of like, you know, Obama's president, he gets this big grassroots movement, and then he kind of just like leaves it. And then Bernie was like, yeah, well, when I'm in, I'm gonna keep that going throughout the whole thing. And Trump is actually did that. He actually kept having like rallies.
It is interesting.
president.
I guess that's a parallel that I hadn't really thought about very much. And isn't that's like a thing that people kind of criticize Obama about a little bit, right? Is that he kind of just like dissolved.
Right, exactly.
His campaign.
Exactly. That's the wedge Bernie was making. Was like, no, I'm gonna keep that energy up the whole time. Right. And then, which, you know, we saw how that turned out. But like basically Trump was just like, he's kind of embodying that. He's like been doing that. And, you know,
actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm okay with Bernie doing more to keep the energy down from his resources at this point. Because I'm good. He can stop anytime.
You saw that shit where that article that was like, Bernie says that Democrats are the party of the coastal elite, or have become the party of the coastal elite. Yeah. Fuck you, man. It's what, October 30th. Election's what, 4 days away, and your bitch ass dropped out of the election when you like could have maybe at least third railed it or something to try and make a fucking statement or a point, which he obviously wasn't gonna do. But if you're a real populist, which he wasn't, you would have done that. And like, and he's like, oh, well, actually, these people I've been campaigning for and telling you that you need to vote for because it's the most important election of our lives. Oh, those are people that are the elites I was railing against my whole campaign.
Dude.
Like, bitch, shut the fuck up, dude. I'm tired of hearing you.
Yeah. Dude, what the him saying that. Look, first of all, I don't believe he actually said that. I mean, you know, these headlines, however they're generated, you know, whatever, however they happen, it's not organic.
I mean, that's a pretty good point.
Yeah, it's not fucking organic. I doubt he actually said that. Even if he did, right? What the fuck does that say about him going out and campaigning harder than Biden did for the Biden campaign? He's out there. He's a fucking boomer. You know, he's fucking like, you know, risking COVID. He might fucking die from COVID or whatever out there every day.
Or the lib pandemic.
Yeah, the lib pandemic, just risking his ass all day, every day, busting his ass for Biden. Like, yo,
it says he's a bitch, dude.
You're a fucking bitch. You're a fucking cuck, and you're doing all that shit, and you say that they're part of your coastal elites. What does that make you? That makes you lower than them. If you're fucking cucked out of your mind for them, that makes you their
bitch boy. That makes you the coastal elites errand boy. Like, exactly. They don't even care. Like, I think what it is he's trying to like now promote the image at the last minute. Like, oh, I'll be able to hold Biden's feet and the Democrats' feet.
Yeah.
He's doing the brand work. He's doing the brand work. It's a part of the manufacturing consent of the whole thing. It's like it's AOC's main job, at least at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and then she came out today talking about,
I'm sorry,
it's really the same exact thing that Bernie did, and she came out, oh, you think socialists actually like the Democrats? Like,
that was today, right?
Yeah, that was today.
Oh my God.
What are you talking about? Look at your name, Representative D, fucking the Bronx. What are you talking about? D.
Yo, what is going on? Yo, honestly, what the fuck is going on? Like, I can't. It's so like. Do they think I'm retarded?
Fake
do
world.
They think I don't have fucking eyes?
They think you're a fucking idiot.
I'm fucking retarded.
They think we're all retarded.
Dude, yo, I used to be so angry when right wingers would be like, yo, you leftists, you're pretty much. They mix up leftists with liberals. I used to get so fucking agitated by that shit. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They are fucking right. They are fucking right on the money. What the fuck is the difference? Once again, what the fuck is the difference? That's why I've adopted all their views, so now I can be right from now on forever.
Yeah, you'll be right in a couple ways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like, yo, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, yo, all these leftists, like not just like the Democrats. I don't have to name names, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Like big media leftist people. They're just on the train, and it's so close now and things are getting nervous because it's not as in the bag. Well, it was never in the bag, but now that like delusion.
Now it's really like, not in the bag.
Yeah, exactly. That delusion that we're gonna stomp them out by double digits. That shit is just dissolving away every minute.
Yeah, you're watching the polls get closer and closer together.
I'll be honest.
Feel the fucking anxiety.
I'll be honest. Like I I mean, I've had nothing but just terrible luck with predictions this year. So like, I don't really want to make a prediction, but I have been skeptical. Like I actually have been kind of getting the impression that like, I think Biden might take this one. I'll be totally honest.
No, I think
Yeah,
he's
you've
gonna
been
win.
with that pretty hard.
and
whole election season.
what was that?
You've been going with that pretty solidly this whole election season, so that's not really a deviation from your main talking line.
I guess it just like feels different just because like it's a roller coaster a little bit, right? I'm like, which side do I think is actually, most likely to lock this? When you make that point though, that's a pretty solid point that like when I think about it, like, yeah, like the last few headlines recently have been very much like a lot of like, well, so we have some data and like it's like a little less chill than we would have liked. Still doing really good. And then there's always some person in the comments being like, it's like really fucked up for you to phrase it this way, man. What the fuck? And like, and like people just
triggered.
It's like and I'm like kind of watching. It's like, oh shit, like is it happening? Right? Like is this is it, isn't it? This is what it looks like when this happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But you still think Biden's got it?
I mean, I guess I said like I guess like I don't want to make predictions, but yeah, I mean, I guess like gun to my head,
I think he's got it.
Well, but not even like I don't even think like rigging involved.
Yeah, you mean organically he's got it?
Yeah, I think organically, like he very likely could get it.
You think it's just like defaulting to a norm, like a baseline? That's just gonna be the psychology behind why.
I mean, he's just got the full hegemonic machine.
Yeah, he's got the apparatus behind him.
Yeah, like it's everything, and like I don't know, man. Like
I get that, but
like
Hillary had that too, right?
Well, yeah, but they basically got the campaign for this for like the last 4 years with just like all culture that's just all been about this a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it's just been 4 years of just like, why is everything Trump?
I think that tires people out too, to a degree.
Yeah.
I think to a certain degree that becomes like off-putting. Like for instance, I saw commercials on TV for like 8 months telling me to like not vote for this guy in Colorado, John Hickenlooper, because he's blah 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 blah. And like at the end of seeing those commercials for 8 fucking months, I wanted to just vote for John Hickenlooper out of spite, like just because I'm tired of seeing that shit. And I think, I mean, obviously, I don't think that most people's brain operates exactly the same as me, but I mean, I like to think some people probably do.
I really hope that's the case. I really do. But yeah, I don't know. It's just
no, absolutely. I think it has backfired. Weren't they like they were interviewing some people in like some town, like folksy town hall bullshit, and they were just like it was about Bernie or whatever, and they were just like, yeah, the way the media kept going after him convinced me to vote for him. Like that set me like it was like a signal to them. Like, damn, why are they so fucking against this guy? That just kind of like, well, there must be something to that, and it kind of had a counterintuitive impact. And I think, as much as most people are fucking empty-headed fucking bugmen that just like listen to whatever they say, right? I think there are a lot of normal,
accurate,
yeah. I think there's a lot of normal fucking thinking people that are like, these people are full of shit, and like, damn, if they really hate this person, there must be something good behind that. I mean, that's how I got to supporting Trump, because I was just like, I know all these fucking reptiles want him out, and the more I thought about it, and the more people were just like freaking out about it, I was like, oh, so he must be the better choice if they really hate him that much. Like, you know what I mean? If they really hate him that much, then he's got to be the better choice. But I agree. I think Biden will win, but I don't think it'll be organic. I think people.
Well, I mean, none of it's organic, right?
Sure. Right. Yeah, I just don't think that this. I don't think Russiagate, impeachment, and COVID have moved the needle. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I mean, like, people used to be like, yo, Russiagate, it's changed everything. It's changed, he's dead now. He's got to get out. Scandal, bombshell. Mm-hmm. And like, fucking impeachment, the same thing, being like, yo, Trump's gone. Yo, he's impeached. Yo, it's over. And just, all this stuff. And then you really, like, they'll go out, and I watch the news, and they'll go out and they'll interview people out in the middle of fucking the Rust Belt. And they'll be like, yeah, why are you guys talking about this shit all the time? Like, we have other shit to fucking deal with. Like, we got real shit to face. Like, why are we talking about this all the time?
Right. Russiagate comes across like a hobby.
Yeah. They got real shit that's infecting their lives. And I think COVID hits the same way. I think it's all the same shit. And I really don't think it's moved the needle in a way where they need 2 out of 4 flipped. They need Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, or what's the other one? Ohio flipped of those 4. Because Texas and Florida are not fucking going blue. There's no way that's happening in any real way. So of those 4, they need 2 of them to flip. I don't think COVID, the lib pandemic and fucking Russiagate and impeachment have flipped people. Who's out there that's like, yo, I liked him, but Les Parnav? I don't know. Who's out there thinking like that? I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
You might get some people who like might not vote for Trump this year that did last year, but I don't think those people are voting for Biden. But like at the end of the day, like I don't know. I don't think like anyone really knows because like obviously there's a lot of weird variables in this election. There's the pandemic, there's mail-in voting, there's early voting, and there's also the fact that like apparently there's more people that have voted like in the state of Texas than all of the election last year. So I mean,
it's the whole
there's
country,
like retarded numbers that are changing that and turnout that's just never really been seen before. So I feel like it's to try to sit and predict anything is kind of like retarded. Like there's really no one could know anything really about it. Like it's just all everyone's going off is just anecdotal. Like this is how I feel and this is what I'm seeing around me. And at the end of the day, like nothing even fucking matters because like it's just going to be a shit show for 4 fucking weeks or months or whatever until someone gets strong-armed in or out of office. Like.
What do you guys think of that thing you brought up about the turnout being higher? Like, what do you guys think? Do you think that benefits one side or the other, or it's just like up?
Yeah, I think that it benefits. I think that it benefits Biden.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I think that like, and we've talked about it like early on in the show. Like, MAGA is not big, right? I don't think MAGA is big, and so like when you just get like random, just average people and everything, like I think that's the most important subject as far as like just cultural propaganda campaigns and all of that stuff, right? So what's the news is telling those people, right, that like a lot of people scoff at is a real fucking factor. And I think that like Biden clearly wins in that space handily.
I don't know. I think people assume that, but I don't know that's actually like. I would think that it probably leans towards Biden with like new voter registers or people that are turning out now that never were before. But I don't know that like is a large percentage. Like I don't think that it's like a vast majority of those people are Biden. Like I don't think it's higher than like a 60% or more of those people are Biden supporters. So I don't really know how to read it. I mean,
You think it's a wash? You think it's fairly a wash?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like it makes a huge difference. I think that Democrats are like, right, the Democrats and the liberal media want you to think that new voters equal Democratic voters or like people that are voting for Democrats. But I don't think that's entirely true. Like, I mean, I'm voting for the first time in this election and like, I'm not voting for president, but like if I was voting for president, it wouldn't be for Biden. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I just think there's a lot of people that are maybe voting that aren't just coming out for Biden because they want to see Trump out of office, but are just like, hey, it's easier for me to do this now. And I don't think that it's as high of support for Biden just among regular people as everyone assumes there is. I think most people are apathetic.
Yeah, I think this is a good question about who the normie is, and I feel like the higher turnout, in my opinion, benefits Trump. I think this is like a thing we've been talking about since the beginning of this show. Is just like who's got the numbers, and like we've like Slav. I know you've said that the normie in the country is probably like the normie default safe opinion is like lib, generic Democrat lib, which I do agree with. I do agree with that as far as what you say, but what you genuinely believe and what you vote in private and what you talk about in private with your friends and when there's no one around, that I think is a different thing, and I think that benefits Trump. And I think the reason why all those polls were wrong by such a high margin in 2016 was people lying and saying I'm not voting for Trump because they know it's socially damaging, but in private they're like, yeah, of course I fuck with this guy. So compared to them, I mean, so I feel like I think and this is the thing where we talked about the apolitical thing, where you used to be apolitical and you'd be a lib because it was the right wingers that were insane and like pushing their views on you, and now if you're apolitical you're probably leaning right because the left is insane socially. So I feel like and we'd always get into debate, like Slav, you and me, like, well, those people don't vote, right? That's the whole thing. It's like, they may be the majority, the silent majority, quote unquote, but they don't vote. But that's the thing, in my mind, if the turnout is increasing, that means that's pulling more into that pool of people who traditionally don't vote, right? So in my mind, that would help Trump, because if you're pulling for people who traditionally don't vote, then you're likely to get Trump supporters, in my mind. But like, Drew, what do you think of, like, who do you think the normie, what do you think the normie view is as far as like Trump or the Democrats, or being like apolitical, like COH is saying? Like, do you think they have like a concern either way, or like?
Well, I mean, you're correct completely on the normie position being just generic lib. But I mean, I know Trump is completely completely different than the average politician. But if you look historically, like whenever there's high turnout, it benefits the Democratic Party just in general for like 100 years now. And I'm not a data retard who like just jerks off to fucking historical trends and shit. But I do genuinely think that Biden probably wins this without a coup or without rigging. I think that it's just, that's my take. I don't think he's going to win Texas. I don't think he's going to win Florida. But without Florida and Texas, he can still win with with Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. And then if Florida is a blue state, then he'll win for sure. I'm not sure. I'm not really as political as y'all. I try to distance myself from it a little bit, just because it's not good for just, mental health. It's not good for parasocial. It's not good for relationships with people in general.
Hey, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to
Yeah, you're trying to say
you think you're fucking better than me?
Or Normie getting mad drunk, like.
Bro, I was thinking the other day, like last night before I went to bed, I was like looking at CRK's feed, and one of my like guilty pleasures is going on CRK's feed and just like witnessing the madness and getting caught up to date on everything he's tweeted.
Sexy.
And dude, you live rent free in these leftist minds, like unironically. I hate that term, but you literally, people, they make memes about you. They use your little avatar and there's charts. And
really?
Remember a couple days ago, they're like, they showed like Amy Therese and the other people, like, oh, if you know these people, you're too online.
Oh yeah.
And then you're on this shit. You're on it with like the fucking Marxist soccer guy. I'm like, dude, CRK pisses people off, and I'm more fascinated in that than any like genuine political opinion. But I've always been fascinated by CRK personally.
Yeah, people hate it when a man of color speaks his mind.
Yeah.
Like
they just want to say it. They want to say the N-word so bad.
If I've contributed nothing, at least I've contributed that.
You should just do that next time you get some angry libs in your mentions. Just be like, go ahead and call me. I know you want to. Like, they just say that. Do that themselves.
I know you want to call me the N-word. Just say it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to like, if you honestly have to make the decision sometimes, like, is it worth talking politics with these people? Because I value their friendship, but like, I know that they have positions like this, and I don't want to like, I mean, politics isn't everything, and I don't want to lose my friend group. Yeah. But
just tell them you can't vote. Just be like, nah, I'm a felon. 3 DUIs.
Drinking and driving for Biden.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I fucking voted for Trump. I wish I was fucking woke enough to do that back then. But I was a fucking lib, and I just thought they were both the same.
You voted for Hillary?
But, no, I didn't vote for either. I was in New York. I'm like, I'm not voting for that bitch. I hate that fucking bitch. I hated her since 2008 because I liked Obama, and I was like, fuck this bitch. Like, even then, she was fucking a demon. So I was like, well, fuck either of these. My vote doesn't count. They're all the same, whatever. But I thought Hillary was slightly better. But I was wrong. Trump is way fucking better. I should have fucking voted for him. Like, but I mean, does that kid know that fucking Obama's deporting motherfuckers at record rates the same? Like, does he know that? Like,
dude, it doesn't. You can bring up points to these people, and they have their liberal spins on it. Like, y'all see these neo-libs that follow me. It's the same fucking shit. Y'all, like, they'll interact with y'all. You see the talking points. They have arguments at the ready for why it's morally superior to be a liberal, no matter what.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's a moral argument at that point. So they don't even need to look at like facts or points or arguments or articles. It's just they've already written you off. If you voted for Trump, or if you thought about it, or if you didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, you are a bad person. It's not something that can be explained away through material circumstances or through any article you can show them, because they are already morally in the right, and they're standing on their high ground looking down on you, and there's nothing you can do to bring them down from it because they think that they're right. Like, if you show them an article, or if you say, hey, what about the TPP? They don't even need it. They're not even think about that. Like, if you try to talk to a lib about labor, like, what?
No, yeah, you're 100% right.
What about the fact that Trump says like bad hombres? Like, dude, shit that just literally does not matter at all because it's a moral argument for them. It's not about anything tangible. It's not about what did they do. That's why you sit here and you're looking at one candidate who has 40 years of failed policy and shit terrible moves that have fucked underclass people, specifically people of color, over as much as like anyone else. And then you have Trump, on the other hand, who's a newcomer, has barely done anything in office, has barely been able to do anything, and has been in office for 4 years and has not done anything really that bad. And you're still sitting here and trying to tell me that the person who spent 40 years fucking people over is better than the person that's not done anything, because they don't have to look look at the facts and the records because they already are right in their mind. Like there's no getting through to that. There's no sewing. Like, and it's the same way with them. They think there's no getting through to a Trump supporter. Like these people are, they're in their own bubbles, like more so than anyone else, way more than conservatives are.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they've associated left and lib with being good
and being right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like progressive always moves in one direction, right? The direction of progress. So if you're a progressive, you're on the right side, and you're going to be validated in history. So you might as well be smug and insufferable.
Yeah, lib definitely is just like deferring to authority and the elite media and all that. So that's where they get the sense of like, oh, well, we're always right because the authority said it's right. So it's like self-referential. But yeah, the moral thing, the left claims that more than the libs. And they're just like, yeah, well, left automatically means good, which, is just, I don't know how you break through with that. I mean, at a certain point,
well,
like
and
that,
that's why I think that like Biden is probably who I would put my money on is because like, no, like it's this is the culture. It's the people that like own the centers of production of just all of our entertainment media and where the factories in which our narratives are created and everything. It's just exactly right. And so like, I mean, like, this is it works like real well.
Well, I used to believe it. I used to believe like, oh yeah, this is the moral high ground position or whatever, until you really look at what's going on, what's being said, what's being advocated for, and you realize it's, there's a difference between saying you're for the right things and actually being able to back it up with what, AOC says all the right stuff, moral things, right? But then what did her actions show? The opposite. Same thing with Obama. I mean, Obama's probably the most crystallized version of this. Of if you catch him 08, 07 campaign, he's saying all the right things. He's saying, things are getting fucked up for the underclass. You're working hard. You're not getting paid back. Like, he's saying all this shit, and then what does he do is nothing close to that. So it's like, it ends up just being lip service where like moral signifying alone doesn't mean anything. It's not, I don't know how you don't learn that after Obama. I don't know how you don't see that and be like, all right, well, people can just say shit, and why that's not enough. You need something.
I think you just have enough distraction like to keep you from remembering it.
Definitely
like
the deluge.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty effective. I do think that it is, I guess, like the optimistic part of me, I do believe that it won't last forever. Like you can't keep lying. You can't keep lying, right? I mean, like, I'm not going to say like, capital isn't going to be able to like control narratives that benefit it in the future, but like maybe at least for this in American politics. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I think that's one of the most interesting things I'm looking forward to with the results is just like, how effective is all this dog shit? Like how much does like 4 years of SNL monologues like actually buy you in 2020?
Well, I mean, apparently pretty far until John Mulaney comes along and knocks it all out of the water. House of Cards comes crashing down because he says there's an elderly man competition.
That was fantastic. That was a very great.
That blindsided me.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I hadn't really been much of a Mulaney fan ever.
I like Mulaney. He's a bougie piece of shit, but like I don't know. Like he's the one of the better, like funnier, more clever bourgeois like comedians that there are. Like,
sure.
His target audience is just like normie, like not even normie, but like lib, middle class or well off bourgeois people, which is like, sure, that's not good, right? Like he's just kind of doing the same thing everyone else is as far as like just kind of perpetuating like hegemony, et cetera, et cetera. But he's one of the more like,
well, I mean, you can't escape that, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's one that like, I feel like, okay, sure. Like I'll watch a John Mulaney and be like, all right, yeah, I don't hate it. Whatever. Like he has some jokes I'll laugh at and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the part where he's like, the rich will just keep getting richer. I mean, that's just true. I mean, that's just like, timeless. Anytime you say that in history, I mean, it's usually gonna click. I mean, yeah, I guess they do pretty much run culture, but I don't think culture clicks with people the way it used to. I think when we say like, yo, culture is fucking dead, it's lifeless, like it hurts to look at. When we say that, I don't think we're just a bunch of weirdos. I mean, we are just a bunch of weirdos, but like I don't think it's as simple as like, yo, we're just some weirdos who like, you know, been online too much and we're irony poisoned, and that's why we don't laugh at this shit and it sucks, and we say it sucks or it kills the soul or whatever. Like,
no, I was watching football with some friends yesterday, and I saw this commercial for this like sitcom that's on, I don't know, Fox or CBS or something, and it's like a white family that lives across the street from a black family. And like that's the sitcom, and the commercial was like they're in jail, and like both families are in jail. It's sharing like a big cell, and like the white dad says to the black dad, like, "What'd your son get arrested for?" Blah blah blah, and he's like, "Being black in America." And like the white dude's like, "What? I'm gonna file a complaint." Oh. And like I'm watching that, just like literally everyone I'm with is just, who is that for? Like none of us thought it was funny, obviously. Like, and none of us could even think of who the fuck do we know or think of that would think that's funny. Like, who's that for? And I don't think it's for anybody. And like I think that like you see all these sitcoms that come out and they're just like one season long and then they get canceled. I feel like that's more and more these days because they're trying to pump out this horrible, terrible lib shit that's just like literally no one's buying it. Like everyone's just like, yeah, I mean, this is terrible.
Well, they buy it. These people buy it.
Well,
they're
the
in their
people that are
small
pumping it
echo
out.
chambers. Yeah, they're in their small echo chambers and they're all laughing to each other like, yo, this is amazing. This is great. And if they left their small bubble, they'd be like, yeah, nobody fucks with this shit.
Yeah,
This
they
is
put it
you
on the
people.
market and then it's canceled after a season. And then they put out another one that's like, well, this time we'll do a Hispanic family.
Exactly.
Throw a coat of paint on it.
Yeah.
yeah. No, they think that shit slaps because they're all around. I mean, you know, I've been around bougie people. I mean, I've been around them. Like they don't know what's a couple feet away from them. You know what I mean? It's so insular. And like, you know, they all reinforce each other of all their beliefs and everything. Like, dude, that's what the money buys you. You know, if you're really rich, you got sycophants, right? You got people who just yes men or whatever, who just like reaffirming everything you believe and everything you say. So it's just like on a smaller level beyond just being some fucking super rich motherfucker. Like all these bougie people, like they have their mini version of that, where it's just like, you know, the things they're around and the people they're around are just reinforcing. So all I'm saying is like they run the culture and they feel like, you know, this is what resonates, but it doesn't. And real fucking people, it's not just us, are sick of this shit and they don't fuck with any of it. And I think that, you know, I don't think they've got the numbers. I don't think they have the majority. I don't think most people you know, they might say that they support Biden and the Democrats or whatever because they have to say it. You know what I mean? I mean, how many social situations have you been in where you have to say that shit and you don't really mean it, or you have to be like placating about it? You know what I mean? And you can't really say.
That happens to me a lot.
Yeah. Everybody has to. But, you know, when you're alone or when you're with people you trust, the truth is far from that shit. And I don't think when you're in the booth, you're alone. Nobody knows who you voted for. And, you know, forget the electoral thing, but I'm just saying like political shit in general. Like, I don't think they've got they don't have the hearts and souls, right? The hearts and minds they're trying to capture. They don't have that yet. And all this shit that they do with like the culture that, you know, these commercials that, you know, COH is watching or whatever. And like you see this shit and like, who's this for? Like they haven't hit the souls and minds yet. They haven't had that yet. They can't get it yet. You can't force that shit. They force it, but it's all cope. Like they're not, I don't think they've got it yet. I really don't believe that. I don't believe that. But you guys feel like that has worked to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, again, just somebody passively just like taking in, you know, American culture, just, you know, like through osmosis, just existing around it. Like, I mean, like if like you have choice A and choice B, and like choice A, like you don't even want to say the name of the person because people are like, because people, a lot of certain people behave in a way that's just so viscerally, oh my God. And like, you're probably just going to pick person B, right? Like it's, I mean, it really is, I don't know. I feel like I'm using a retarded fucking metaphor, but I think, I really do think like, and I think that kind of trick, maybe the opposite too, but that kind of trick I think has probably more relevance in a year when like everyone is like separated and just isolated from each other, and so then like kind of just that further threat of like estrangement from the in-group by just being like, okay, well, like you're gonna do the wrong thing on top of the fact that like, you know,
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like it's being like banished into the woods. That's like apparently in my mind like the real pitch for Biden.
Plus also being so isolated, like especially especially through COVID and shit. Like if you're not around people doing normal social interactions and groups like you typically are, you get further and further away from what the norm actually is. So you like, if you are passively taking in this like just retarded shit, you're like, oh wait, maybe that's what normal people actually think. Maybe that's like what if
Exactly.
I'm the weirdo here, you know? Which like
exactly
like all the time, but maybe that's what everyone's thinking, like, you know?
Exactly. Like this isolation, I think, is making like the perfect subject of people to just completely terrorize and propagandize. And and I do think that I mean that was like an aspect. That's been an aspect for a long time, but yeah.
No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I think that's part of the whole.
And that right there, like, just as far as like, I that's a really good reason in my mind too that I honestly like just do hope that Trump does win. Frankly, is because like I would like to see that stranglehold. I don't know. Like I'm not necessarily like anti-hegemony, right? I'm not like I understand the utility of it. Like you don't want to like get mad because the sky is blue, right? And it's also like I'm not like anti-state, right? Like I want the power of the state just for me though, right? And so it's like it's not it's,
as well.
Exactly, right? It's like propaganda isn't in and of itself bad in my mind. I just like this is like really bad propaganda, and it's like making all of our lives a lot worse. And
it's horrible.
It's really horrible. And I see. I don't know. Like I know that it's maybe not like the most like high-minded political issue, but like it seems like a perfectly valid thing.
That's why I feel like people viscerally reject it. I feel like people viscerally reject this shit. And that's why I feel like, the libs don't have the hearts and minds of people. They don't, it's like, do you believe that censorship or deplatforming works? No, of course not. I mean, if you believe that, you're retarded, right? But none of us, I don't think any of us believes that. Like, it doesn't really work. Because if you shove that, like what you're saying, Slav, like put it in the woods, shove that shit, in the shadows. It's not gone though. And in fact, a lot of the times when it's in that situation, it festers and it gets stronger, right? And like, a big part of the lib pandemic is the neo-lib atomization and people not being able to talk to someone being like, oh, you hate this shit too? So do I. Oh shit, I thought it was just me. I thought it was crazy. Like that element just gone, right?
I guess it honestly, it kind of feels like you're describing like a cultural id, what I mean?
Exactly,
where it's like this truth that exists outside of like information as it's dictated by power dynamics. Just kind of like, there's just like this basic intuitive understanding of the reality of the situation. And I guess I am pessimistic about that.
You're pessimistic that it has the numbers basically.
Yeah, I mean just that kind of force can actually like outweigh just like a really big information monopoly.
Yeah, I think it can, but it needs to be through being presented with the right information, right? And not just like being able to be like, oh well, I just like organically and naturally know that this other thing is the right path, or like this is retarded. Like I think that you have to counter that hegemony, right? And I don't think that people do a good job of it. And so I think that like whenever there is everyone has class instinct. I think everyone has a pretty good solid understanding of kind of what affects their individual lives. But because of the fact that there's no good source of understanding that or good framework for understanding how it works as a whole, and people are just like running around like chickens with their heads cut off. And so I think that, I mean, to your point, Slav, that I totally agree that I don't know that underlying instinct is strong enough to be able to break through hegemony without giving a good nudge.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if there's been any nudging that's gone on this year, it's been just like to the benefit of
sure.
I mean, I don't even want to necessarily say capital, because like we're talking about like fundamentally like
capital.
No, exactly. Like the election is just two factions of capital, right?
Right.
But
the turnout increasing to me is a sign of whatever id there is. If we agree that id exists or whatever, like that's being tapped into. And look, at the end of the day,
but look at what the libs are saying. I mean, everything in the news and in the media right now, it's about going and getting the vote out, right? So like it could just as easily be.
Yeah, every commercial I've seen has told me to go fucking vote. Old Navy told me to go goddamn vote.
So that just tells me like that.
Oh, you think
like,
it's just people being like, "Oh, stop bitching at me. I voted. Stop bitching at me," like that.
Well, and it makes me think that they went and they voted because they listened to the media to go vote, and if they listen to the media, then the media's got their ear, and they've drunk the Kool-Aid.
Gotcha. No,
Yeah,
I don't think
either
that's
fucking
insane.
way. It's like that's why.
Well, right, and that's
all navel gazing. That's just like it's just I don't know. It frustrates the hell out of me. And I'm ready for this election to be fucking over. Like so, people can stop telling people who to vote for. Stop talking about what's gonna happen. Just like it'll already have been happened, and it's just time to see now. Like
also just like stop like hating people because of political reasons. You fucking psychopaths. It's so
like be
weird.
normal. Have like normal relations with people that aren't about some shit you saw on social media that has nothing to do with y'all's relationship or day-to-day lives. Like
exactly. It's just I don't know. Like I get politics is just cultural affect now, right? And it's like the most popular professional sport at this point, right? But like I would like to get past the Super Bowl of politics here sooner rather than later, because I'm just very tired of this. I voted for Trump. I'm hoping that
you did.
I did. Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice.
let's go. Nice. It's not interesting.
I don't. I mean, I'll be completely honest. I'm definitely not MAGA. I'm not even necessarily like super stoked about my decision. But like,
yeah, I'm surprised you waited so long. I felt like you were kind of on the fence about it, just because like I know you were like, yeah, I might go turn in my ballot today. Previous to this week or so, I would have assumed that you would have been on the Trump train already.
I don't know. I've just been taking like a lot of breaks from Twitter lately, and like and honestly, that's one of the things. This is so fucked up sounding. That's one of the things that has me so pessimistic in a way, is because you just raw dog reality. Just get off like social media entirely for like a week or two. And I'm in Seattle, so it's maybe a different story here. But it's definitely like the Democrats' culture and kind of world that you're absorbing out there. When I'm not on social media, it's very much like that. And so I was conflicted for sure, and I was. I mean, it came down to basically I was gonna vote for Drew or just not vote at all.
Yeah.
I'm not even. I mean, I had basically towards the end just like decided it was most likely going to be Drew, and then I don't know, something about the latest news cycle. I was just like, right, like fuck these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's funny how 4 years later, like voting for literally like an incumbent president for out of like a lot of like fuck these motherfucker reasons is still valid. I still maintain like that's not the most legitimate reason, and I still maintain that I think that the right faction of the middle class that is basically represented by the Republican Party has like less, I hate the word toxic because people overuse it, but like less toxic material interests than the urban middle class does currently.
Power.
What was that?
They have less structural power.
Exactly. And I mean, just like I know that fiscally, economically, like urban centers are just like a house of cards, right? Like Seattle's weird, right? Seattle's very weird, and it's troubled. And I mean, just I don't know, like looking at worker visas and all this kind of like labyrinth of just shit that unfolds, and realizing, I mean, what's behind the reaction to the last 4 years, like kind of the material basis there, and the amount of like exploitation that like does exist in this like form of these like worker visas and things like that, and how many people are just on like gig work. I look at Seattle and I see like a level of like impermanence there that, I mean, this is kind of separate from what I was trying to say of like the material interests or not. It's just like there's a desperation there, and I just don't think that like right now, if you're going to make some kind of Faustian bargain and interface with bourgeois politics, I don't know why you would interface with the Democratic Party, because their constituency is like is low key the greater force of reaction right now. That'll be like the leftoid way of legitimizing myself. I'll word it that way.
There's nothing wrong with I don't know how much of it is reaction or whatever. I think they're closer to global capital. I think that's the biggest problem. But like, I mean, this is the thing. Like, voting out of spite is not bad to me. That's not illegitimate to me, because there'll be a point very soon where we can't even express spite. And that might sound dystopian or alarmist or whatever. It is coming, and it's pretty much already happening now, because you can't say that you support Trump. You can't say that without getting insane amount of social pushback, right? That's already telling you what it is off the bat. Yeah. So that's already proven. So like, you know, spite is not bad. I mean, there's demonstrable things, in my opinion, that you can point to being better with Trump. But like, aside from that, spite, even if it were just spite, there's nothing wrong with that, because these people need to be reminded that they're hated. They need to be reminded at every single. Why do you think the people showed up and voted for Trump when he had no challenger in the primaries? Because they want to remind these people that they're hated, and that is as good a reason as any. Especially now, if you guys want to take the macro view of like, oh, none of this matters, it's all bourgeoisie bullshit, whatever. I mean, obviously that's true, right? But like, to whatever degree that's true, it's like if there's no real impact on what you can do, you expressing that sentiment, if that's the most you can do, that's worth it. That's absolutely fucking worth it. These people are the worst fucking people on the planet, right? We're in America. We're at the top. We're the top dog, basically. So these people who are closest to the top elite here are really fucking close to it. They're fucking right there. So you expressing any spite towards them is good, unconditionally good. No matter what form it takes. I don't care who thinks that's dumb or doesn't like that or whatever. I don't care. Like, these people, they
are sick.
They've got so much. They're sick, and they've got so much power that at a certain point you have to take the black pill and accept that they're going to run this shit and it's over, and we can't do anything about it. And you just expressing the resolve to hate them openly is meaningful. It is meaningful. You know what I mean? If you think about it in that context,
I think that's fair.
Nothing wrong with that in the scope of what's happening. Like it is okay, Biden is on the side of global capital. He's on the side of Silicon Valley, all these like techno like moguls that are owning the new commodity, the new and up and coming blockchain, the new social currency. They're owning literally everything's going digital. Everything's going to be on whatever the fuck they are owning and creating and making with this code. They're literally making a new commodity in a new market out of the thin air, out of nothing. And they're making that into code. So they're the people who are going to be controlling global capital in the future, because they're like, that's the direction things are going in. So they're siding with Biden, right? And Trump is an obvious reaction to that. And it's other factions of capital that have less power, because they're the older factions of capital that are dying out right now. And so those are, your petty bourgeois, but also working class people that have that same sentiment too. So like, when people are like, oh, this obfuscation about like, oh, Trump doesn't have any working class support, he only has middle class people who can own these nice trucks or whatever the fuck.
Boat dealership owners.
Interests can sometimes line up against these larger capital global technocratic people. Like, it's not that they have the same interest, but it's that theirs are somewhat parallel at this moment, because there's both a reaction to that. And there would, like, if it wasn't reactionary and was based in like, if we had a good underclass movement that was theoretically sound and could like help build working class power, that's a real alternative. That's obviously the better fucking option. But voting for the Democrats and like bolstering global capital that's already 20 steps ahead is no better than being a quote unquote reactionary to that global capitalism, which is fucked. Like, there's it's not, being a reactionary in this sense is not bad within the scope of that. Like, between the two, who gives a fuck what you're doing? Like,
I think that's really fucking well said. And I think it's also like one of these things. It's also just kind of like who would have thought that like an entire like population of people, like cities basically kind of just be like being tooled to just service like a middle level, just like middle management bureaucracy. Like, who would have thought that like this class structure would have, giving them basically like control of an entire, political apparatus would have bad outcomes, right? Like too many people in these mid-level, mid-management jobs with, overeducated. I mean, it's just the fact that like, I guess what I'm trying to get to is that like the right, just by circumstance, is within the coalitions giving more concessions to lower class people, because that's just the way their pie chart happens to be divided up right now. I don't know if that's like necessarily necessarily all like because of deindustrialization or anything like that, but like it certainly is also informed by the fact that like on the opposite end of the spectrum, the left is disproportionately made up of people that fucking whine about going to school and having a bunch of student debt and like being in like kind of bullshit jobs.
They make
those Republicans, their states got gutted the hardest, so they've got no choice but to be slightly more, to whatever degree they yield to a constituency, which none of them do, but to whatever degree they do, they have to hear these complaints a little bit clearer because they're right there.
Yeah, exactly. But then also like think about like the complaints of like, you know, like the Sanders people, right? Of being like, oh, we want like student debt forgiven, right? It's like a bunch of people being like, oh man, like millennials, we won't be able to buy houses, and like, oh, this is like really what that was a lot of fucking people in these fucking areas not able to afford to live there. Mm-hmm. Right. And we've talked about this before and other people have, but like as far as like the like, you know, going off of your parents' insurance, and so, you know, hence Medicare
26 for all. Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's like no, like the hierarchy of needs for the people among the right-wing constituency is just less. Yeah, I mean it's completely different, and it relies on like a lower level of exploitation in my mind.
People have needs that are like less tangible. Like if you're like in a PMC job or whatever that's like not actually related to actual production, like you're not producing anything tangible, you're doing like spreadsheet shit, or you're just like doing some sort of servicing, you're like
data entry
your labor. Like you're not seeing the product of your labor. You're not connected with what you're doing. So your labor is like a more ephemeral kind of object to you, because it's like it's not something that's so just tangible right there for you, that's tied intrinsically into like you can feel it and touch it. So your needs are harder to really like pin down and advocate for yourself and know, because they're not tangible. Like, we need to be able to make sure we can make this thing safely. It's like, I need to make sure no one can call me a name through the chat on the computer. Like it's shit that's just not.
Well, right. I think the culture war stuff is just kind of like getting to like a deep like kind of unhappiness and like a need for some kind of stakes, like letting out the pressure, just like what I think like a lot of like the activism this year was. But
definitely.
But I mean, like I also do think like, I mean, a lot of these institutions where like power is held in these areas and everything rely on, you know, some things that I think are important to like actually be able to to pin down, which is, you know, like I had talked about, like cheap labor. And this is like the University of Washington and like hospitals and just universities and offices around here, right? Like cheap labor. I remember someone in our group chat talking about this having like a really negative effect on like their ability to leverage to get exactly. Thank you. God, I'm really fucking stoned. Yeah. And then, you know, you look at like these fucking pervs, you know, relying on, you know, like gig economy services, which like, honestly, I totally do. So like, I'm one of those pervs, right? Like, more investment into that kind of stuff, which like, you know, like I hate to break it to anybody, but like that shit is not built to last forever, right? Like it needs market intervention, right? And it probably needs some like pretty fucking aggressive market intervention and advocacy. I mean, you got, you know, the bug man living in the pod, and, you know, people are fairly accustomed to these services at this point, kind of to like speak to like the point you were making earlier about how it's like a lot of these needs are kind of superfluous, right? So one would like care about, you know, idle kind of stuff or less important things. And like, I do think that is fairly real too, but yeah, I mean, it just even the baseline, the actual things that can be determined, it's just like, no, it's wire thin margins and they're already just not doing well. I would not want to go to downtown Seattle anytime soon, to be completely honest with you. And like, it's just going to get worse from here on out. And yeah, I mean, I think that like the answer to that has been like this weird kind of like solution in a form of politics of being like, well, we need to like make a golden cow out of a certain group of, you know, ever more specific people, to maybe like distract away from the fact that there's just like otherwise complete like political impotence with all other matters.
Well, also to distract from the fact that just everyone's life across the board is just getting worse. So
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Golden cow whose lives are like historically already worse, and you can be like, hey, look how terrible theirs are. We're going to forget about what's going on for us. We're going to focus on this, and then that gives us a market. Like, if we can see that maybe we're doing a couple things to improve the lives of this select group, it's going to make us all feel like everyone's lives are going to be better.
Right. Yeah. Right. Look. I mean, this is the thing. Like, Slav, you're in
vicarious.
Seattle.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. We talked about this before. Of like, they're not going to give these people like, you know, the nicest stuff, but they're just going to use it as like for the cameras, like you said, Slav. Like, they're just gonna dress it up and be like, hey, look what we did for this X whatever small group. It cost us like nothing. Cost us like pocket change, and now we're conscious is clean, and you guys can shut the fuck up about everything that's going wrong in your lives.
We found most. We instead of helping 1,000 people, we helped one person that's 1,000 times more pathetic than the average person.
Charity mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And this is the thing, Slav. Like, you're in Seattle, I'm in New York, so like I saw what you were saying before, like that post where you're like, you know, these motherfuckers like believe Russiagate, like all this shit. Like, you're online and you're like, oh, people don't believe this shit, but you talk in real life and these people believe it. Like, I get that because like I'm in New York, obviously I'm in fucking you know, Mecca, and like these motherfuckers, you know, you talk to them and they believe all this stupid retarded shit, right? So it's like, I get that, but like, we're in tight enclaves.
Yeah,
we're in pretty narrow enclaves, and like, you know, as long as there's an electoral college, as long as there's a fucking globe that's outside of these enclaves, people don't fuck with these motherfuckers. Well, and I refuse to believe that I refuse to believe that these people have any organic popularity outside of that. And you know what I mean? Like, and I don't believe it. I've said this, you know, since we started the show, I've been saying this, and look, this is a numbers game, right? It's just strictly numbers, right? The top of the pyramid is narrower than the base. There's more people at the bottom than the top. So as simple as that is, just off the numbers alone, right? These people, you know, whatever it is about like culture of like, oh, you just have to like concede to whatever they're telling you to do. Like, Spotify's telling you to do this, so you just got to do it to get people to shut up or whatever. Like, whatever that is, whatever, you know, downward pressure that is, there's more people on the bottom than there is at the top, closer to the top. And the longer these things get worse, as income inequality gets worse, wealth consolidation accelerates. As long as that happens, right, these people are going to be more and more not just complaining about, damn, you know, I fucking, you know, got these student loans and I'm supporting Bernie, or like, oh fuck, I'm 26 and I'm not on my parents' healthcare, like lower stakes concerns, but like downwardly mobile PMC. Like, as long as it keeps accelerating, things will get realer and realer for more people, and all this cultural shit won't fucking matter. Them forcing you to like forcing this shit down your throat at commercials and every cultural event, that shit will get less and less potent, less and less effective, because people will just be sick of this shit. And even if they, like I said, you know, if Trump had died from COVID, which was never going to happen, but if he had died, if he loses, if Bernie dies, if whoever, any of these people die or disappear or whatever, it does not matter, because next year and the year after, there's only more and more people who are more angry, more and more and more. It's not going away. There's nothing they can do to get rid of that until they address the contradictions, and they never will. So I don't care like what they say about, you know, what's popular, what the polls say, or like what they do. I don't care if they rig, or I think they're gonna rig for Biden, but it doesn't matter. Like, whatever happens, like, they can't get rid of this shit. They can't get rid of this frustration from the underclass and this anger that's intensifying every day until they address it, and they're not going to address it. So, you know what I mean? You know, however this goes, it's just going to get worse.
I'll give some anecdotal just experience, but I live in Denver, which is pretty lib too. Like, as far as like the West goes, that's not the coast. It's probably like you're like next up and coming Seattle type city. Like, they're trying to make it like a techie kind of hub.
Yeah, you're like Seattle too.
Yeah, it's like Seattle too in the middle of fucking nowhere, surrounded by just like open wilderness and like a bunch of like rural areas. So here, I used to work in Capitol Hill, which is like a more affluent area, obviously, and so I drive in every day. And like,
it's funny because there's a Capitol Hill in Seattle.
Yeah, totally, and they both suck. But here you would see like some Biden signs lines, some like Bernie, whatever the fuck. And so I would think like, yeah, this is like a pretty solidly like Biden supporting area. Well, I live in like a really poor part of Denver, where it's like pretty rugged, and I don't ever since I stopped going into Capitol Hill for work, I don't ever see anything political here. I don't see any Trump shit. I don't see any Biden shit. I don't hear people talking about it. I don't hear people talking about any type of like who you're voting for, any of that shit. So like even within those enclaves that are like more lib bubbles, there's still division along class lines too. So I think that like, I don't know. I mean, obviously I've said it before. Most underclass people, I don't really think vote that much. And so even though if they are this year, I don't really think that it goes exactly along the lines that Democrats want you to think. But
no, of course they're not voting. Yeah,
really.
Yeah, they're not voting. But look. I mean, this is the thing about the shy Biden voters or the shy Trump voters, right? The silent majority, which way that goes, right? Do you guys acknowledge, right, that like saying you're a Trump supporter comes with insane amount of taboo, that you're a racist?
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would really like. Yeah,
especially not in an area like this.
Well, that's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, right? Because if it's a matter of presenting or signaling who you support, right? If you're a Biden supporter, that threshold of whether you're going to signal that and the headache that might come with is way lower than if you're a Trump supporter. If you're a Trump supporter, you're not going to fucking say it. You're not going to say it. You're more inclined to not say it, right? Whoever was that guy who was like, Trump supporters aren't shy about it. Like, that guy's a fucking retard.
He's a fucking retard. Well,
so many people are DMing me like, yeah, I support him, but I can't say it. Like, mad people support him, but they can't fucking say it. You know what I mean? Like, I got insane amount of flack for saying that he's better than them. And like, yo, dude, people don't want that fucking traction. They don't want that fucking flack. And like, it makes sense that they don't. So if you're looking at just the numbers, like, that's underrepresented. It has to be, by every sense of what data means, underrepresented.
Yeah, I don't think, just as a side note, I don't think that like quiet Biden supporters is like a thing. Like, I think that that's an absurd fucking comparison, because like there's a difference between like a candidate being a fucking snore fest, which is like what Joe Biden is, versus like a candidate basically being like synonymous with like the Antichrist.
Yes.
And so like that's not, these aren't at all really comparable, right? And so like I doubt anyone's gonna be hush hush. I'm a hush hush. Like, no, like if I voted for Biden, I'd be like, yeah, like I went out of my way to drop off my fucking envelope in this box for this dumb motherfucker who can barely string a sentence. Like, I want some credit for that, because like,
yeah, you might get some pussy out of it. Like, yo, like, are you guys getting any pressure from your jobs to like vote? Because I'm getting a little.
Yeah, every time I go, have you voted? Have you voted? Have you voted? I just tell them I can't vote. So I just tell them I can't vote. I just avoid it.
You're a felon. You're a black hotep. You're a felon.
Yeah. I just tell them I'm a felon and I just can't vote, and then it just shuts them up real quick. Usually.
Drew, are you getting a lot of that like type of like attention? Like,
yeah, like my company, it's a pretty major company, and they send us emails daily reminding us to early vote or to vote, and we have time off, which is legally obligated for them to give it to us. But on top of that, like my direct boss, on every like weekly meeting that we have, since we're working remote again, they bring it up and they're like, oh, just make sure you go vote. Make sure you go vote. It's a very important election. Make sure you go vote. And like, I know they're not explicitly saying anything, but every time people remind me to vote, I feel like they're telling me to vote for Biden. And
obviously, yes.
Yeah, like they're saying, like when Twitter has this thing where they have like you log in for the first time of the day and it says that there's like, the headlines aren't the whole story, or it's like, here's your early voting locations and all these things that these companies are doing. I think they're clearly saying you have to vote for Biden. I don't think it's some neutral thing. There's no fucking way.
Yes.
It's so transparent.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. These motherfuckers at my job are telling me to vote, and I already know because it's in between them complaining about Trump. They're like, oh, by the way, if you guys voted, you guys need to vote. It's really important. You need to vote. And they're my boss. What the fuck do you think that means in terms of like coercion?
This entire election is going to blackpill us all on democracy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, like, if your boss is telling you to do that, then like there's a power dynamic there that like you can't really ignore. Like, these people have your fucking salary at their hand, and they want
obviously.
you to vote. And they've asked me if I voted yet. I'm like, what do you mean if it's not your business if I voted or not? I could have done it in my personal time, but they keep asking me, and I'm like, no, I haven't voted. No, I haven't voted. And so I'm quite honestly, I might lie and say I voted on Tuesday when I'm not going to, just so they get off my fucking ass. No, I'm not voting. No.
Yeah, I'm in fucking New York. I'm not gonna like. Maybe I'll vote just to give the symbolic fuck you, but there's no point in me voting, right?
Dude,
Maybe I'll do it. Honestly, I might just do it. But like, this is the thing. Like, they're applying this soft pressure, which we've talked about on the show before. This soft authoritarianism that's not as blatant, where they're trying to, look, fuck your boss. Your boss is a fucking piece of shit. I don't know who you are, who's listening. I don't know who's listening. I don't know what you do for your living. I don't know where you're from. I don't know anything about you. Fuck your boss. Your boss is a fucking piece of shit. And they want you to fucking vote Biden. When they say vote, you know who the fuck they're talking about. When Spotify sends you a fucking email, remember to vote, you know who the fuck they're talking about. You know that fucking Jeff Bezos and all these Silicon fucking Zuckerberg cucks are for fucking Democrats. So when they say vote, you know exactly who they're telling you to vote for. Fuck these people. I'm telling you to fucking vote Trump if for no other reason than to stick a finger to these people. Fuck them. Fuck what they want.
And I'll come out and say just to not vote, just to counter all the vote energy that's out there. Just fuck it. Don't vote. Fuck voting. Like
that's an easier pitch because you don't have to do anything. That's like people will be like, damn, I don't have to leave my house.
Stay at home, chill. Like just do what you're gonna do.
Quite honestly,
I agree. And I'll be the true middle ground. Just flip a coin and decide, because that's just as meaningful as actually making a decision.
Yeah, if you're not in a swing state, it's really hard for me to convince you to do this. Like, if you're not in a swing state, dude, your vote doesn't even matter. If you're in a swing state, fucking vote Trump, please.
Quite honestly, like the best decision an individual could ever make is to not vote, just because your one vote won't matter, period. And like, I think these lines are kind of crazy at some of these places. Like 2 hours of your life to not actually change anything, it's not worth your fucking time. Even if it was just 10 minutes, dude. Like, you think about how much you get paid per hour and how much you're not actually changing shit. There's no fucking reason to vote. I think all of us live in safe red or blue states. There's no fucking point.
Yeah, you know what? You just convinced me.
The garbage time that you got off of work when you're supposed to go vote. Well, you could just do nothing. You could go home. You could eat a nice meal. You could smoke off. You could jerk off, but not this month.
Not this month.
You could eat. You could do whatever you want to do. You could watch a sitcom. You could dude. You could do anything, but just like, you don't have to go vote and stand in line and self-flagellate and like try to explain your point. And I think it's actually fine that I voted for Trump. And no, I should have voted for Biden. And who gives a fuck, dude?
Yo, you guys just convinced me. Now you just convinced me why people should vote in non-swing states too. Because they always say, oh, well, Hillary won the popular vote. Fuck that shit. Don't let them even have that. Fuck that shit. Fucking vote. If you're in a non-swing state, fucking vote for Trump. Fuck that shit. You know what? You guys just convinced me right now to vote. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Fuck these motherfuckers.
There's a measure on my ballot that was to allow the presidential election to be decided by popular vote rather than the electoral college. I'm not sure if that was on everyone or if that was like a Colorado state thing, but that was like a actual like amendment or proposition on the ballot to vote for here.
Oh my god! They want a one-party system. It'd be a Democratic fucking party the rest of our lives.
I voted no on that, and I voted to introduce gray wolves into the woods here again, and that's basically all I voted for.
Base.
That's sick as hell.
That's base.
That's sick as hell. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like one of the big things, because I am in Washington, which is, pretty fucking consistently blue, like is kind of just the like, well, I'll just be like another number on a graph as far as like the data that does control our lives, right? So like, I don't know, maybe like I can make a message to the retarded Nate Silvers of the world. Or something.
You can zoom in on that one number, that one piece of data, and it's just Slavs sitting there looking like Sam Hyde 2 minutes.
Exactly. I'll just tell you, Nate Silver should pray that he doesn't, find himself in a dark alley with Nate. I'm not even gonna do this.
I haven't said, dude. I mean, like, as far as a pitch or whatever, dude. Don't you want these people to fucking eat shit and embarrass themselves and cry and be humiliated, dude? Come on, whoever's listening, dude.
I'm like honestly kind of surprised Drew isn't voting for like this reason.
Unironically.
Well, I'm just. It's mainly social capital. The reason.
Cuck.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
He's got the Neil. He's got the globe emojis.
Yeah,
He's got,
Drooligans. He's not telling you the truth. He's gonna vote.
It's weird.
He's just not.
For Trump.
It's weird. I'm getting a DM from Drew right now where he's saying, don't believe this shit. I'm fucking voting for Trump.
No,
It's so strange.
you know what's really crazy? I think 8 people wrote my fucking name in for president. So
Nice,
I think
nice.
I did more influence on that fucking election than me voting or not voting, just by that stupid retarded joke that Slav really pushed. Like, these people wrote my fucking ass. I'm 25. I can't even fucking possibly do it. And they wrote it in like AO companies. So, dude, fuck it. Fuck these people. My vote doesn't matter. I had 8 people vote for me. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a ballot cum tribute and turn that in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you don't want to vote, or if you want to just like throw a third party thing, or would be a spoiler, like that's I get it. But like, if you vote Trump, you are increasing the odds of a guarantee that these people will be crying on election night and trying to re-solidify their credentials. Oh, well, I've graduated from this place and I studied this and I know this. These fucking stupid, retarded fucking cuck libs who are smug about nothing. They've earned nothing. They're smug for no reason other than their parents are some fucking rich motherfucker that gave them some job out of some nepotism bullshit because they can't fit for anything else. Right? These motherfuckers, right? Yo, don't you come on, man. What pitch do I need to make? Don't you want to see them fucking cry?
Wait,
I
so you
want
no
them to
longer
fucking cry.
believe in your lib coup?
No, of course it's gonna happen. No, I'm just saying, like, every bit.
What does it matter? Like,
No, every bit. No, well, it's not infallible. Yeah, of course, like they can just do it whenever, right? But like, there's a point where it'll be so absurd that even they're doing this calculus, right? You see all the fucking headlines with like they're doing calculus of if it's a slim margin of victory for Biden, that's not good enough because there's gonna be unrest and they're gonna call everything into question, right? They're already saying this, so they're doing the calculus. So they don't want just a regular win; they want a landslide because they're concerned about mandate, right? Which is a legitimate political thing to worry about. This is the thing, right? You voting against them. This is what I've said before, right? Even if he gets rigged on, even if they assassinate him, whatever, you just putting your support against them is all that matters. That alone is a triumph in itself. Even if they kill him, even if they rig against him, whatever, even if Kamala's president in fucking February 2021 or whatever, you just doing that means everything. It means a lot. Trust me. When things get really bleak in terms of authoritarianism or dystopian society or whatever, every bit of resistance and rejection of this shit matters. It matters. It does for the next generation or for whatever. Not to get too fucking dramatic, but it matters. Historically, that shit has mattered. Dissident opinion matters. So you need to fucking vote Trump. Do as I'm fucking telling you and fucking vote Trump. And make these fucking people cry. Make these people with all their credentials and all their smugness eat shit again because it was fucking delicious in 2016. And I was stupidly a leftist and I didn't appreciate it. I thought it was bad. I didn't appreciate it. I thought it was bad.
Not a leftist anymore.
Right, exactly. I stupidly couldn't appreciate it in 2016. But now, dude, oh my God, man. I need it to happen, man. I need it. I need this shit to happen. I want these people to melt down and fucking lose it. God, man. I want fucking. I guess I gotta cut that. But I want these people to fucking, think of contemplating. I want that.
I mean, that honestly is actually something that I had like thought of though in the past, which is like if Trump wins, like there are going to be suicides.
Dude, listen. I was I watched post hoc after the election and was on like saying like, hey, if you need help, you can call the suicide prevention line. I'm not kidding. She said that on the air live while it was happening. Dude, please, man, please. What bigger pitch? Forget the trade shit. Forget the anti-war shit.
Killing themselves.
Yeah, dude, please, dude, think about it. Just think about it.
Think about Jonestown for libs.
Yes, exactly. Yo, I don't need a pitch stronger than that. I can't make a pitch stronger than that.
I'm going to invest thousands into the parent company of Kool-Aid just before the election.
Yes. Well, man. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Oh man, this is terrible. This is terrible.
Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I want these people to fucking eat shit. I want them to suffer. And you know what I mean. And I
am with you there. I am with you there. And like, I don't know, just the seamless transition from Bernie into just this domino effect of just like everybody falling into line and doing the thing. And it was like, everything over the last few years was actually nothing, right? It's over. And just like how quickly that happened and how quickly like it just, was rerouted into some other bullshit. It's just like, come on, like, fuck it. Like to treat it like this is actually some sacred moment as if like the primary didn't just happen and like so all of this. I don't know. It's
how smug are these people, right? Decade after decade, and it's all the same. I don't care if they're on the left, AOC left, DSA left. They're still the same breed of these DNC neo-lib motherfuckers, and they tell you what we're doing is good for you. It's in your best interest to take this fucking dick in your ass. They tell you that all the time. What could be better than spiting them? There's nothing better than that. These people, all their smugness, I can't make a pitch stronger than that. These people need to eat their own shit. They're smug as fuck. They think they're right about everything. They think they've got moral high ground. They think they think they come from heaven. You know what I mean? These people need to be taken down a peg. If for nothing else, for no other reason, they need to be taken down. They need to get stepped on. And this is the only way. This is the only real, like, as far as political efficacy goes, right? This is the only tangible thing that's in reach as far as you got, as practically speaking. Especially if you're in a non-swing state, this is the closest thing you got. Do it. Fucking do it.
Honestly, I'm having a hard time disagreeing with you in any meaningful way.
Because I'm fucking right. And you voted Trump, so like you feel what I'm saying. Like you did the same thing that I'm thinking. Like like it's worth it. It is worth it to spite these people, if for nothing else.
I'm just saying I'm not voting for Israel. That's why I'm not voting for Trump.
That's a pretty.
Wow, you're an anti-Semite.
Zion Dawn, that orangutan, he's out. He's done.
wait. You gotta explain this. I don't know.
Guy.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, just because he's like reactionary, right wing, tied to Israel. That's the whole thing, right? That's the whole argument.
Oh, yeah. He's pro-Israel, dude. That's enemy number one. They gotta go.
Go.
I'm just.
Oh my god.
To be honest, like seriously though, fuck Israel.
Yeah. Fuck Israel.
That's a strong argument. Yeah, that is a strong argument. But what is Biden better than on Israel? No, of course not.
No.
Oh, but you're just saying you're saying it's reason enough not to vote for Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
good conscience.
His ties to that country. Oh, okay, let me phrase this correctly.
His ties to those people.
To the chosen people, dude. No, but in all seriousness, he does have a huge heart on for Israel, and if you're not a Zionist, then that's a good enough reason not to vote for Trump, in my opinion. I get fucking liberals over, but at the same time, if you are pro-Israel, then just vote for Trump because he's going to be better than Biden. Republicans are always better than Democrats for Israel.
No American president.
Yeah, it's a plea for the evangelicals.
Yeah,
but no American president will turn on Israel. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but Republicans support him more, but it's the same thing. It ultimately doesn't matter. Foreign policy is as important as domestic policy, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much more he's pro-Israel than Obama or Biden or Hillary. I mean, that kind of just becomes a wash in my mind. I mean, him giving tax cuts to the rich is pretty fucking insane and evil, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, they're both going to do that. Every American president is going to do that. So these certain things I got to take off the table of, like, you know what I mean? Again, like what you guys always say, what Slav and COH always says is this bourgeoisie politics. So that's off the table. That's not in the realm of discussion. When you go to vote, you're not voting to take away that because that's been locked in decades ago. That's not up for debate.
You'll never vote to take that shit away. Like
exactly.
You don't take that shit away with a vote. Dropping something down in the ballot box.
Exactly. And that's why, I mean, I get why you, as far as your priorities, that being your clear long-term priority, then that's not, unless you see that, then you're not going to move for that. I get that. But I mean, if it's all a joke and it's all a circus, I might as well do the one that fucking makes them cry, makes the lips cry. Might as well.
The Cheeto man.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? And plus, you got to think about the fact that he's immune to corona. So I mean, if we don't get this whole thing under wraps, we don't have to worry about him dying like Joe Biden might.
It's true.
Dying Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, that's the whole plan of the Biden campaign, isn't it?
Totally.
It's just Kamala. That fucking ad of the trick or treater, right? You seen that? This like trick or treater comes up to this like house, and they're like wearing like a Biden mask, and they're like, "Who are you?" And then, like take it off, and it's like some weird actress that they hired that like vaguely looks like Kamala Harris, and she just like she takes all their candy and dumps it into her trick or treating bucket and just like walks off.
Oh my god.
Commercial? That's like a Trump commercial?
Yeah.
Wow, that's based. Holy shit.
It's really funny, honestly.
They just got better commercials. That's another reason.
Just takes all the candy and
dude, I saw this Biden commercial and it was like the most like depressing bullshit I've ever seen. It was just this one broad that was sitting like in her living room and like one chair in the middle of her hardwood living room and like nothing around her, and she's just like, listen, I know we wanted to try something different. But something different just didn't work. And she's just like, so let's just not do that this time.
Oh my god.
She's excited about anything. She's not mad. She's not angry. She's just like monotone broad, just like complaining.
What's the deal with this broad?
Exactly. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, what's the deal with this broad?
that's like the first Justice Democrats ad. That's like it's just they just like hire a woman who looks vaguely white trash, and like and she says like a bleeped F word, right? And it's basically just like a high production value made for TV version of like the champ TikTok girl.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh my god.
Let's do it later, champ. Got a fucking Cheeto in the White House. The Democrats are like absolutely just running on misery. It's just misery.
An patronizing fucking smug thing to call somebody.
I know. It honestly has never really occurred to me to like call someone champ, and I'm like kind of proud of that.
For like a 4-year-old child that like just like hit a ball off a tee and like you got champ.
Yeah, there you go, champ.
Well, see, okay, COH and Drew, right? Who's more annoying, right? The libs, these motherfuckers, or the Trump supporters? Who's more just flat out just annoying?
I think they're both pretty.
They're both horrible, man.
Yeah, they're both horrible, dude.
They're both the inverse of the same fucking coin. It's terrible. Like all the shit's bad. It's not getting better. Like regardless of what happens, nothing's getting better. Shit's only getting worse. It's gonna get worse forever.
Yeah, I think it's horrible, and I think it's like good. That's a good answer. I think, to be honest, I mean, to be fair, yeah, like I think libs are probably worse right now, but like
easily.
I'm just around more of them right now, so I just am like more angry about them.
Yeah. No, they're easily.
Dude,
worse.
I don't know, man. Seriously, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, surrounded by fucking cons and surrounded by like people who are MAGA people, and like they're no better, man. It's just the same fucking. It's just like seems a little bit better because like you're not surrounded with that constantly. Probably like moving, I thought, oh, libs were better. I moved to see libs. Libs are fucking terrible, and I hate them more right now. But like I think as a whole, they're definitely more misguided. But like people who are like just as sold into like right wing like id poll and shit, are just as retarded. Like there's no the right's no smarter or better or any of that dumb bullshit. They're also retarded. Like,
well, here I got like kind of like a tweak on it a little bit too, which is like I think that like how I said earlier, I don't think MAGA is like actually very big, right? Yeah. And so if we're talking about the true believers here a little bit, right? And like I think that it's really fair to say that for libs, there's way more true believers, right? As far as like actual equally annoying right-wing people, that would be MAGA, and there's just not that many MAGA, right?
I think most right-wing people are right-wing just incidentally. Like they're like Christian conservatives or whatever, and they vote right-wing because that's like Christian values, family values, etc. People who are like true believers in the left on their libs, that's their religion. Like there's no incidentally I'm a lib. It's I that's like my.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of those fucking people.
Yeah, totally. And I do think that's like a higher percentage than people on the right that are like true believers on the right, but the true believers on the right are just as retarded as the true believers on the left or libs. Like that's like this whole like dichotomy. Like it makes you think, oh, like this other side must be a little better, but like they're both fucking terrible and unhinged and lost it. Like
I agree. I
mean,
think
they all
you're right.
have material drives, right? Like, and so you can see the reasoning behind either of them. I can, at least. Most people, if you take a second and you can think with nuance, you can. But like, neither of them have a better grip on it because of the fact that neither of them, they're just dealing with symptoms of the cause, and that's like the whole problem, right?
No, I agree. Oh yeah, I mean, I hate the right id poll. I think they're fucking retards. But as far as annoyance, as far as like who's like the loudest and like won't shut the fuck up and just is insufferable and smug, it's lived by a landslide victory. Like they gotta go, man. As far as just on an id like shut the fuck up level, like they gotta go, man. They're first.
I mean, to be honest, like today was like a pretty good example of like the right being shitty, and it was them just like parked out blocking off like highway lanes, which is like shitty, and I would be fucking furious. But like that's like better than like like burning your car out, dude, or like killing you.
When I've been to Bernie rally.
Right. Exactly. Like I would rather be late to brunch than like have a mob just stand there and berate me all through the meal.
That's what I'm saying. Yo, I've been to a Bernie rally, like the big one or whatever. I've been to some of these things, and like when the MAGA people are there, they're just silent. They've got their fucking flags out. They're just like standing there, just like, yeah, fuck you, communists, whatever. But they're just like they're just calm. Sure, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, you see the inverse of that, the left version of that, dude. They're in your face. They're fucking.
But in the South, I saw that like the exact opposite of that. Like you don't see outspoken liberals like where I grew up. You see the opposite. You see like outspoken, super in your face conservatives about it.
Really? They're going around like canceling people for not liking MAGA enough? Really?
They're going around yelling at gay people. They're going around like doing whatever the fuck right-wing id poll shit they have. Like they're going around doing the marching with signs and yelling at people saying that you're sodomy and blah, blah, blah. There's dumbass shit.
Oh, yeah. The abortion.
There, like I would never see like libs get in your face there. And I would get like super frustrated and annoyed with conservatives. Out here, I live with around only liberals essentially, or like where I live specifically is more apolitical. But like what I see and kind of absorb is more liberal out here. So I'm more upset, and I never see people out here that are like in your face conservative about it unless I go to like Delta or more rural areas. And so like because of that, I'm more frustrated. Like it's like you're saying, like we do live in these enclaves, these like bubbles. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's like a grass is greener situation where in reality both grasses are just manure fields.
I see what you mean. I totally.
Also to be fair, and I do think that this speaks to just a separate problem. Like I think that the left is certainly like probably more annoying on the internet because
internet
because they control all the media platforms.
Exactly. Well, that's the other thing. That's the other. They've got more power. That's objective. Mm-hmm. The left is closer to power.
Yeah,
so.
I mean that's and that's one of the things that drives me nuts about leftists in discourse among the left is that it's like this quiet thing that no one ever wants to like admit that like guys like the left. I mean, first of all, like you have the entire like libs aren't the left kind of thing, which like I get. Right. But like also like at this point, it's kind of a fucking cope. Like they are, you know what I mean?
Operating picture of the left here. So
yeah, they're the left. And so what was I saying? And just like this idea, like when people are like, oh, like they're silencing left voices online and things like that. It's like you realize like that's not we don't need to deal with that, right? But you can't admit that because it lays out the power. It lays the entire thing bare, and a lot of dominoes fall at that point.
Oh yeah, they've got the fucking power. They're closer to fucking power. What else you need to hear? I don't need to hear anything else. That's all I need to.
And I think it's especially relevant just given the fact that like the big product they're selling right now is like, kind of like, the resistance kind of underdog, challenging.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's postmodern subversion.
Child underdog.
Right.
Yeah. You remember those anarchists were like, yeah, we need to stick up for the anarchists because they're being targeted by Trump, this fascist government, and we're getting oppressed. Like,
right. Remember the whole fucking vans pulling up to protesters and like picking them up shit.
Yes.
And it's like,
Portland,
like,
yes.
Yeah, no. And it's like, I'm not denying that any of that shit happened, right? But what I am saying is just like on the left, there's such a need to develop this narrative.
Victimhood.
When like organizations are moving people into cities and in these protests where just like there's just weeks and weeks and weeks of looting and property destruction, and then you get surprised. It's like unprecedented, right? You get surprised when like law enforcement comes
in vans.
No, like, exactly. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this isn't COINTELPRO. Like they're picking up people that are just like serially committing damage in the city. Like,
there are people in vans that aren't even doing that shit just on a normal, regular basis all the time. So, like, what the like?
What do you think?
Trump
what do you
invented
think
that.
the legal
Trump invented
system
it.
looks like?
Yeah, like what do you think any arrest ever is like?
Yo, that's the thing, man. All the things they've said that were like fascist or Trump authoritarianism, they've already been doing this shit. And you have to be a white mayo-ass liberal to not know it. It's the only explanation.
Well, it's just the state going mask off more so now. And like people are paying more attention. So they're more attuned to see like, oh, this is the way that our state actually operates, which is like why I think that it's good to have Trump in office, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because people get less faith in the whole process.
No, like, I mean, I don't know. People are like, there is the media focus on what's happening and stuff. So like people are like seeing like, oh yeah, they're being thrown in vans. Like, sure, what the fuck ever. They maybe like they had it coming to them, but like, first of all, that shouldn't be happening regardless. And like, okay, yeah, like this is just what they do. Like, oh, they're putting immigrants in cages at the border. Like, what do you think our immigration fucking policy does? Like, what do you think any of the shit that we have in place does? What do you think the state is for? Oh, the state's violent right now and is like being upholding inequality. What do you think this organ of the state is meant for? That's what it's for. Like, and I think it's good because it's making people see it like a little bit more. And like with Biden, it's going back to sleep. Like, I mean,
exactly. Polite racism is worse than blatant racism. It is. You know what I mean? I don't know who doesn't understand that, but it is worse. And him being mask off about this shit is better than Obama putting a smile and some PR shit and polishing it and doing the same shit. It's better. It's objectively better because if it's the same impact, but one of them launders it better, that one is the worst one. I don't know how you don't understand that, but that's what it is. You know what I mean? That is objectively worse because they're making it last longer. They're making it last longer before people realize they're suppressing the basic reaction of, oh, this shit is fucked up. This shit is fucking crazy. That's why do we do that? It's fucked up. That instinct is getting pushed away, and whoever just makes that shit more apparent is better, clearly better.
Sure, yeah.
Think about just how horrible everything is. Just like just focus on it for a second.
Yeah, I'm not used to that lately. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, IRL.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna IRL pills. Fuck, dude. The most negativity exists IRL, but like, yeah, true. Man, it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable.
Well, guess what? 2 days, and then at least one chapter of it's done with.
Dude,
for a second.
I'm fucking so goddamn stoked about that, dude. Like,
I am
it's
too.
Gonna
man.
fucking rule.
Hey, I'm sorry, fellas, but the election's not gonna be called for a week.
Oh no,
no, it will be.
I'm sorry, guys. Hey, I mean, I want it over
but
too.
Everyone will stop telling you who to vote for though, because like you won't be able to vote anymore. So that'll be out.
But then the DSA is gonna tell you to like get out in the street.
Yeah. Megan Day.
Then like
Megan Day.
Are gonna show up.
We're gonna organize. We gotta, oh guys, shut up, you fucking dipshit.
Yeah, we've got like three unions that are all operating out of like a new age coffee shop in Seattle, and they're all pledged with us.
No, exactly. Like the baristas. We have three unions that you don't want anywhere near levers of power, and they're gonna
with like 6 people.
We're gonna fucking show up and have oh my god, no, I don't want to go to anything organized by them.
The purple hair barista union.
I would never go there.
Yeah.
That's just such a joke. Yeah, girl with $4 million or more inheritance is going to try to tell you to march so you can put Joe Biden in office.
Unreal, man. Unreal. Yeah, but they're not gonna call it right away. I can't imagine that happening. But yeah, I mean, it's like Drew. Drew, that shit was 4 years ago, and they're still asking. They're getting mad at him about what he did 4 years ago. So I don't think it's gonna end. That's why I don't think this whole like bring back normalcy and get the libs to, like Obama.
No,
Obama being like, hey, vote Joe so we'll get off your ass. The gun next to your head, like do what we say or we'll keep giving you lib nightmares.
Listen, folks, if Joe wins, you won't have to think about him.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna have to flip and talk about the doggone president all the time.
It's pretty much a threat. It's a threat because they control the media, and they're doing this deluge every day of this stupid shit that no one cares about, and it's extremely annoying. And they're like, hey, we're gonna put our foot off the gas a little bit if you fucking do as we say.
The intelligentsia like shit their pants, and they're like, if you give us what we want, we'll go change our underwear.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop if you do what they say. You know what I mean? This is the whole nature of like power and coercion.
To be honest, it might, as far as like just like the horrible fucking, but like
no, yeah, the news will stop, but like the bad shit's just gonna keep happening.
Right. Yeah,
they're like exponentially worse.
If people, I wonder how many people there are that are literally just voting for like, I just want Trump gone, so that like there's like not every fucking TV show and movie is like doing a story arc where like the subtext is about Trump.
No, exactly. I think there's a lot of leftists voting for that reason. And listen, do that if you want. You're going to get somebody worse than Trump after, and the media is going to be on him 20 times as worse. It's going to be 20 times. You can't kick the can. Deal with it now, and it'll be less worse than putting it off, sweeping it under the rug, and dealing with it later, because it will be fucking worse than this.
Yeah.
So you might as well deal with it now.
To be fair, I don't think anything's going to get any better after the election, or like any of this will stop. I just think that I'm going to be happy that I won't be having people telling me to fucking vote anymore, and no one's going to be asking me, "Are you going to vote?" I won't have to see a commercial.
They're going to retroactively vote shame you. They're going to be like, "Oh, who did you vote for?" They're going to bitch at you for that.
Well, but
I've been dealing with that, and everyone has
and
still.
all the
so
other
like
stuff that's like it, like also just
everything.
Yeah, like I'm just done. I'm just done with everything being a fucking story. I'm just done with fucking protests. I'm done with all this shit. Like none
of that's going away
though. It's not going away. I'm not saying this to you, but like the people who feel this way that vote for Biden, it's not going away. It's only gonna get worse. They're the reason. Biden and these Clinton people and these Bush people are the reason why this is happening now. You can't put them back in and expect it to stop, because you might stop it for a couple years, you might stop it for 4 years, but it's coming back, and it's only gonna be worse. That's why they pump all this money into the economy when the market crashes and there's cyclical downturns, and they kick the can and they wait for the pain to come later, but it's worse. That's all that is. You're making it worse later. Do it now, because you might as fucking well, and it won't be as bad as when you kick the can and make it worse 4 years from now, 10 years from now, because whatever comes after Trump on the right will be worse. Guaranteed worse.
It'll be Tucker Carlson. That's what I think it's going to be.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's the next one. I mean, it's not going to be like Marco Rubio.
That'd be kind of sick, honestly.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that he'd be worse then. So in that scenario,
that's
Tucker, I mean, I don't like Tucker, but I mean, I get what you mean.
I think it's going to be someone like him, like Hawley or Cotton. I don't think it's going to be a neocon. Even if Trump loses, I think populism stays with the right. And then I think
doubt.
Tucker has a genuine chance of doing it if he actually ends up running. When he has a platform, he's basically peddling kind of the populist side of the right very well right now on airwaves. I don't like him personally either, CRK, but I know a lot of people do, especially on our like Twitter sphere. So,
I'm not sure if he's like a president type though. I feel like he serves better. He serves their interest better as a media.
I was just gonna say that. Like I honestly can't picture him making like a public speech.
Yeah, I can't. I can't. He's doing the media thing.
So who would it be then? Pence?
No.
Pence is like the phantom VP.
I don't think it'll be Cotton. I don't think it'll be Howley. These are all neocons to me.
It might be someone that we don't know. It'll probably be someone coming out that's like a new media figure, or someone who's been like underneath some of these new media figures that are like slowly starting to enter into the like right populist machine that'll pop up in a few years.
I think that it could be Howley, to be completely honest with you. Or
I don't know who that is, so it could be them.
That's a fair point.
He's the one from Missouri, right?
I believe so.
He was the one who was saying what did he say? He used one of those dog whistles that they claim because he talked about not rootless cosmopolitans. He talked to the cosmopolitan elites. That's what he said when he was talking about the journalists and stuff like that. As soon as he was elected, and I remember there were some like poll edits where they had like fucking Nazi music in the background with the fast wave edits and shit. They actually like him a lot, but he's pro-Israel, and that's one of the problems with a lot of them. They're all pro-Israel. I guess you can't be anything but pro-Israel at this point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel you. I mean, that's a good wedge, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
They triple parentheses run everything. So what are you gonna do? I'm joking.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not, but
yeah, Drew's not.
No.
Good having you on, Drew. I know we kind of went on a tangent there for a while.
You're good. I'm not as in tune with politics as you all, so sometimes I kind of struggle to add anything to the conversation, but I'll definitely try to improve on that.
Yeah, sorry. We're gonna have you back on.
Keep doing you, Drew. Your shit's good as it is, man.
Facts. Well, we're gonna have you on with Menace next time, so like.
Oh shit, dude.
We'll just keep it real.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
None of this nerd bullshit.
Two heavy hitters there.
Facts.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Peace.
Peace.
Take care, bud.